Hello, folks. So, I noticed an interesting problem today. So, I am actually in Nexus Koramangala Mall, Nexus Koramangala Mall in Bangalore. And so, in the PVR theater that I went to, so they usually have this policy of like not allowing you to have, say, mobile chargers, power banks, and laptops, and many other things, say camera, many devices. You can take your phone, of course, but you can't take a lot of things inside. And for example, you are not allowed to take lighters, right? People who smoke always have lighters on them. You are not allowed to take lighters inside the Audi, right? The theater. So the thing you're supposed to do is basically, give these items to the baggage counter, and they'll give you a slip, right? And you can actually just what do you say? Keep the slip with you, and once your movie is over, you can actually come back and give the slip and get your bag back. So this is the classic way of storing bags or anything that is not allowed. Let's say in a shopping mall or in a, say, something like a theater, cinema theater, right? A movie screening theater. So, or many places don't allow some stuff, right? So in this case, PVR, they had a small baggage counter which could store not very less but quite a bit, but not too many bags. It didn't have like too many big boxes or counters or space. So probably I think it can store probably 300, 500 things. And usually what do people keep, right? They keep their whole bag, which has not just their laptop, but it also has stuff like, say, their books or whatever, right? Their makeup and whatnot. It's not just the laptop that is there in the bag. It's their whole bag that they take to their office, right? Or they actually have their helmets. Helmets take up a lot of space, and helmets are not allowed, right? So today they were allowing helmets because they didn't have enough storage space to store all the things that people had. There were a lot of people because they have a lot of Audis, that is a lot of movie screening theaters. I think they have about 11. They have at least 9, I think, right? 11 probably, I don't know more. And I remember seeing 10, 9, 10, maybe 10 or 11 something. So they have quite some screening theaters, and each screening theater is quite big. Some of them are small, which has only like, say, 20, 30 seats. Some of them are really big that it can contain, I think, even as good as, say, 150 to 200 people or even more, some of them, right? Some of them are really big, right? So like each row has like around 20 seats, and there are surely at least 8 rows, which means 160 already, right? And there are usually more rows, sometimes more seats in some rows and whatnot. So there are a lot of people who come, and they come in their two-wheelers, which means they'll have helmets, because in Bangalore you should wear a helmet. It's good for your health, for your head, and it's of course good for the law, or else you'll be caught by the police for not wearing the helmet. So it's good for everyone if you come by two-wheelers and you wear a helmet, but helmets are not allowed. So then people keep their helmets. People come from their office on a weekday or even on a weekend and whatnot. So today is a weekday, right? And they come to the movie screening in the evening directly from the office and whatnot. Or some people always carry their laptop. They don't leave their laptop, anywhere. Some people have cars. They will leave their laptop in the car. But then people who come in their two-wheeler, they can't keep their laptop in the two-wheeler trunk. Usually two-wheeler trunks are not so big. And if it's a small laptop, maybe you can keep it. But yeah. And people have chargers or whatever, right? And you need to use one counter space to store only one thing. Even if it's a small lighter, PVR is not going to be expecting too many lighters from people, right? Sometimes all someone has is just a lighter. I've seen someone just give their slip and get a lighter and go out. So just to store a lighter, people wouldn't have a small space, I guess. Like PVR wouldn't have a small space. Each space would be of some size, and it will be allotted a number, right? And your slip will contain that number written on it along with your phone number like a part of your phone number, because let's say you lose it and someone else gets it, they'll get your whole phone number and all the details, and they'll just give it and they can get the bag, right? So if they want to confirm, they'll have to use your phone number. So a part of your phone number is put on that, but they also have a slip on their side to understand what is your movie screening theater number, when did the movie start, and also what's your full phone number, right? So that in case you lose your slip, you can just tell them your number and they can call you and they can check your ticket, and then they can just give it to you, right? So the problem was today, there were a lot of people, standing in the queue. There was a lot of chaos, and there was a lot of fighting around. People were like very annoyed that they had to stand a lot in the queue to give their, say, helmets or their laptop or their bags. And there was no separate queue to actually collect your bags. So everyone was standing on the same line. People who want to collect, people who want to actually drop their luggage, like the baggage or whatever, right? So, I mean, people who want to drop their bag and interesting baggage, not the emotional baggage and whatnot, not the metaphor, but people who want to drop their bag, they are in a hurry because they need to drop their bags because their movie is going to start off. They don't have enough time. They are standing in a long queue. People who need to collect their bags, they are done with the movie, but then they want to collect their bags. They don't want to stand in a long queue. But the thing is, they don't have separate queues. They have only one person. It's a small baggage counter. They have only one person and one counter, one small opening in the counter, and they're serving people, right? So it's a classic problem wherein there is physical space involved, and you are limited by the physical space. You don't have enough space to store all the bags that people have, and then at some point you're like, because let's say all your counters are used up with bags or helmets or whatever. Now you don't have extra space. Now what number will you allot to the person, because no counter, no space in your baggage counter is available to store your thing, store the customers or the client's bag or whatever they want to store. And what will you give them? Like, what will you tell? Like, you have to store it in some space and give some number, say 10, and then when they come back and say 10 is my number, and then get their bag from 10, right? But then and you also write it down that it's a bag or whatever, or it's a helmet, right? Of course you don't write the contents of the bag, right, or how the helmet looks like. You just write helmet, that's all, right? You don't take a video, you don't get all the content details or all the detailed information about whatever they are storing, right? And it's important to not store, of course, explosives and stuff. That is illegal. But anyways, so if you don't have any extra space or empty space to store the thing, then what will you do? You just have to give it away. You can't put it on the floor and say, okay, we stored it and the number is this. Now you have to start numbering your floors, and there's only so much floor space that you have, right? It's a very small space, and so you are just used up now. The physical space is your limitation now, right? I wonder how PVR is going to solve this problem, because people are going to be really pissed off if this keeps going on. PVR, the theater, is really good for paying $100 or $200-300 for movies. Yeah, I've paid $100 for some movies, like Oscar-nominated short films, a list of short films for 1.5 hours. It was just $100. For paying $100, they have a really good space that you can use and go get your snacks if you want. I don't eat junk, so no. And their washrooms are very clean. Their space is very clean. They're all very well organized, and it's a very calm space, right? So it's a great space, and the theaters are really good. The seats are really good. The experience is really good. I recently saw a 3D movie. It's all good. But then if this is a problem that people have just before seeing the movie, they're going to be really pissed, and they're going to be like, let's not go to this place. But then one advantage that PVR has is it's in Nexus Koramangala Forum Mall, Nexus Forum Mall in Koramangala. It's I think one of the only malls in Koramangala, and it's one of the only theaters in Koramangala. A lot of people live in and around Koramangala. It's close for them to come and see a movie in PVR. But yeah, this can be an annoying experience. They'll have to figure this out, because when you go and place your bag or helmet or whatever, they ask you your screen number, ideally they should ask you to show the ticket, and they should ensure that the ticket is valid. For example, if you don't have the ticket and you are just a passerby, you're not really gonna go to the PVR show, you can actually simply lie saying some Audi 1, 2, 3, whatever, and movies starting at this time by looking at the show timings online or wherever offline, and they'll just take it, and you'll be able to keep your bag in some place. Use the PVR baggage counter even though you're not a PVR customer, because you're not going to see a PVR movie and whatnot, but you are in the mall and you want to not pull your luggage around, so you just instead of slugging around or whatever like the term is, instead of pulling your bag or carrying your bag all around, you just can keep it, right, for free. But then it will use a PVR's baggage counter space. They have laws that for example, you can't keep the bag for more than the time of the movie screening. For example, if the movie starts at say 4 p.m. and say it ends at 7 p.m, you can't keep it in that space after 7 p.m. or after some 3 hours of 7 p.m, I think, something of that sort. They have a time limit. After that, you can't store your bag over there. They have the right to just throw it off and whatnot, and they always of course have the right to actually check your bags just in case you have some explosive or something illegal, and for example narcotic drugs and whatnot. So of course they'll have the rights to check your bag, because it's easy for you to just store it in the baggage counter, and so no one will check your bags, and it will just be there, and you can use it as your safe space to store illegal stuff. So they will not allow you to do that, of course, right? At some point they're going to figure it out. So anyways, so if you're a PVR customer, that is, you're going to see a movie, that too on that day at that time, and not some old customer or some future customer showing some old ticket of some other day but some specific time and whatnot, or some specific Audi. So they'll have to check your tickets and ensure that it's a valid ticket and you own the ticket and whatnot. Even now when you enter PVR theaters, you just show a ticket. It can actually be someone else's ticket also. So it's actually ideal that they check that you own the ticket somehow. I don't know how they can check it out. For example, I can share the ticket with someone and they can come and show, right? Though I bought the ticket, it's for my friend also. Let's say I buy 2 tickets, 1 ticket is for me. The booking ID is only one booking ID, right? And they're coming separately, they came before me or whatever, right? Anyways, so these people at the baggage counter, they check the ticket, they understand that this person is a PVR customer, they write down the movie time, so that the thing I said about timings, right? They can't keep your bag forever. So they'll know that the movie started at this time and it'll end at some point, and after that 1 or 2 hours after that or 3 hours after that or something, they'll not keep your bag, right? And or at least after the movie ends, they are not really gonna keep your bag for a long time. You just come out and get your bag, right? They write down your Audi number and of course the movie time, and that should tell them what is the movie. They could write down the movie, or they could just get all the details from your booking ID, and they'll write down your number. Ideally they could digitize this process, digitalize or digitize or whatever, right? If it's all digital, it's easy, but right now they ask you to show the booking ID, or they ask you the Audi number, they write it down on a slip, and then they ask you your mobile number and whatnot. Finally, they have one part of the slip for themselves, for their own purposes, so that when you come and give back the slip, they know which number the counter is at. Like, they also have the details and you also have the details. They have more details though. They have your full number, and of course you know your full number, so you don't have to have it on the receipt. So they put it all, and then they give you part of the receipt, and they have part of the receipt, right? So this is all physical, and this takes time, right? And they have to store it in a counter, find out the number and write it down and whatnot. So yeah, I mean, they have problems, physical space, storage problems, and human intervention, wherein they're writing down, they're asking people writing down and whatnot, and it's not a digital process where you scan some QR code or whatever, give your thing and get a digital receipt and not some paper receipt which can be lost or whatever, right? And interestingly, I also noticed one more problem. they have a part of the receipt, right, which has your full number. Interestingly, they have to throw it away, but I noticed some parts of some 2-3 receipts on the ground outside the counter, and I don't know how it ended up there on the ground. It had the numbers of people, so they are basically exposing or leaking people's numbers, right? And when people come and tell, when people are standing on the counter, they have to tell their number to this person, so they have to tell it out loudly or even slowly. Someone standing nearby could hear it and it'll expose people's numbers, right? So ideally there should be a better way to share people's numbers in a secure manner, in a digital manner of sorts, or in some way, right? Some better way than just telling and that causing it to get leaked. So I tell my number, it's fine, I'm fine to tell my number to anyone, I guess. Of course, if I get spammed, scammed and whatnot, I'll get pissed. Spamming is the craziest thing, and a lot of women, for example, wouldn't want their numbers to be leaked, right? But let's say they're telling their number to this counter person and someone is standing behind in the line. They can hear the number, they can memorize it, they can write it down, type it down in their phone, and remember the phone number and start spamming them, right? It's a woman, they can assault them, harass them and whatnot. They can mess up things. People can do a lot of bad things with just a phone number, right? So it's better, it's fortunate that they don't ask your name and all, right? But if you want such details, it's better to actually share this information in a very simpler manner and in a more secure manner, and not like this over word of mouth, and where it can get leaked, and it gets easily leaked and exposed when you don't want personal information, especially like your phone number, contact information, to be leaked, exposed, right, to others, especially in an unwanted situation, right? So this also causes counter people to know your number, assuming you can trust them, but usually you can't. So there should be some digital way. Even the counter people shouldn't know your number. Digital way to scan a QR code, which is encrypted. Let's say inside it is encrypted data in the QR code. You have the data, you can decrypt it only when it's necessary, and only the digital systems can decrypt it, and it is stored in a secure manner and whatnot, right? So it's better that way. For example, I book my shows on Book My Show. They know my phone number. They can probably interact with PVR, and PVR can say that, hey PVR, hey, book my show. Let's have a system where you can help us with this stuff also, so that we know the email ID, name and phone number in case we need it. Encrypt it and keep it, and give us a code or an ID, customer ID, and we'll store the customer ID. In case we need the data, we'll use it, and we can do some verification and stuff, indirectly or directly. Probably indirectly. It doesn't even have to go outside Book My Show's premises. Book My Show can help with identifying a customer, right, and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, there can be some better ways to do this, and I would expect PVR to be a better company. They are a great company. They are probably gonna be fixing this. I hope to see a better solution. Yep. So that's all I had for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.